Good morning. Hope you guys are having a great day today. Mark, how are you, sir?
Hey, I'm good, man. I'm pretty good. How are you?
Wonderful, wonderful.
I've been working on our momentum lesson. It's taking longer than I thought it would, but I should have it done by this afternoon.
Nice.
Um,
Those are the good. I've got to resize those thumbnails and make them fit better onto the display for the sales pages on the lessons, so they're not working out the right way. I've got to figure them and tighten them up a little bit better so they shine better when you look at them.
all right, and then I guess should talk later on about setting up the payment mechanism.
Yes, sir.
All right. Um, oh, got your gift yesterday, Mr. Steven. Did I see Mr. Steven on there?
He's
Oh, there he
there.
is. Yeah. So I was thinking, you know what? Mr. Steven was talking about, are there any water plays? And all of a sudden I remembered there's American Waterworks, which is AWK. So I was looking at it. Now, this is part of the utility sector, and it's been
Holy
getting
smokes!
crushed. So I think so. The reason why these utility stocks are down is because interest rates are going up. But now interest rates are getting so high that they're at some point there's going to be a little bit of a correction. I mean, I think that they continue to go higher long term, but I'm just talking of maybe like a, I don't know, things don't go straight up and straight down, right?
Right.
This is inverse of the bond, so there's going to be some short coverings, and that will probably cause some of these utility stocks to rebound. If we use the RSI indicator here, which is a simple momentum indicator, momentum is like how far something has moved from time period A to time period B. It's not volatility. And most of the time, something is in its typical or usual or historical range. But if it gets below that, we call that oversold. And that tends to be a good time to buy. Like, see right here, it was oversold.
Mm-hmm.
Here, it was oversold. Here. But now I was going back, and we can go all the way back to, I think, forever. Well, not
God, you can
forever.
see it on every time it's done it.
Okay. So since this stock has went public in 2008, so 15 years ago, it's the most oversold that it's ever been. So you see that? So that's
Wow.
something to definitely pay attention to. Let me just do this. Yeah. So I would be watching this for rebound if those interest rates start to come in. I mean, who knows? It could, if interest rates keep moving higher, then it'll take longer than we expect, I guess. Um, but I think that's something that we could have on the radar screen is the balance in utilities. All right, so let me show you the utility sector here, or actually, let me take a look at it. So this is really oversold too, obviously. Let's take a look at this. So this ETF tracks the sector.
We're looking at XLU right now. The first one was AWK.
So look at this. All right, so this is the most oversold the utility sector has been since October of 08. And that's when, I mean, I remember it very well because I was trading for this hedge fund in Greenwich, which I heard is shutting down by the end of the year. And I think that's a good thing because I can't stand the guy who runs the place. But anyway, so this was the last time the utility sector was as oversold as it is now. And it got down to, all right, so this, I mean, this, it's kind of hard to really even, if you weren't really around or following it back then, this is like the financial meltdown. This is like when Lehman Brothers went out of business and Bear Stearns went out of business. It was a pretty crazy time. But in this situation here, this really oversold reading told us that maybe not that it was going to really rebound, although there was a pretty meaningful rebound. I mean, we went from 26 to 29. But this was more like just saying, hey, this sell off is going to take a halt. Then we get down here, and this was a good buying signal. So this was the actual very, very bottom of the market. And I remember people like calling me up, people that like people that knew I was in the market called me up saying like, hey, you know, because they were talking about how like the financial system is going to just completely melt down, and there was a lot of things going on. A big part of it, I think, was then was people were afraid because Obama came into office and he looked very, very, you know, when he first came in, it was like he could get anything done that he wanted to. He had so much political capital, and people were genuinely afraid that the healthcare system was going to get socialized. So that was a big part of this sell-off here. And then, like right around here is when he kind of got in bed with the insurance companies, and everyone realized, like, all right, well, you know, things are going to go on just the same as usual, and that kind of took some of the fear out of it. But I, you know, I mean, I remember it very well because I was there. I mean, I even remember we're not going to have the socialized healthcare. I remember this is the so here.
You're having trouble, Mark.
What's that?
Your internet connection's having trouble. You're coming in and out.
Really? Over here.
Just keep going. Keep going.
All right, let me just see here. I'm just checking. My Ethernet cable is working.
Do you guys see Mark getting spottier from time to time, or is he going straight? You're good. Go ahead.
All right. All right. Well, that kind of worried. All right. Anyway,
Go ahead.
so it's good now.
Yeah.
All right. He's saying it's spotty.
There you go. I've got full bars on you now, so whatever you did worked. Are you on a wireless connection?
I shouldn't be. It should be my Ethernet.
You're good now. I've got full strength on you.
All right. Well, maybe it was just something with my cable company.
Okay.
They tend to suck anyway. All right. So what we can do now is look within the utility sector for certain plays. Right? Like I know that the biggest stock in the sector is this. Next error. So here we have our classic descending triangle pattern.
Man, those things fell out of bed.
Yeah, I mean that's like your perfect pattern there. That's like something that would be like, if I was writing a textbook, that's something that would be in it. Yeah. All right. So what we can do is when we look at XLU, that's actually an ETF, and ETFs all have what we call a fact sheet. So we can go check out the fact sheet of the ETF, and we can see like what companies are in it. And we could, oh, I typed in the wrong symbol. It should be XLU. XLU. All right, so we can go to the holdings. And we got Southern Company, Duke Energy. We could look for some more water companies in the smaller ones. Now, this looks pretty interesting. If the sector rebounds here or gets some kind of reversal, this is on support. So there's a good, well, it actually had a pretty nice rebound yesterday off of it. Where are we moving this morning? Yeah, I mean, it still looks like it's got a little bit of, could have some upside in it here. And it's at support, so this could be less risky than something that's not at support, like NextEra, what we just looked at. Duke Energy. Well, look at this. This is the same thing. This is at support too. 97.50. Try to clean this up a little. This was probably in a presentation. All right, actually, it's 97.50 is up here. Wow. So this was this was support for a year. And now we're down to, we'll call it 85. So this could be a potential play for a reversal. All right, so that's Duke. Next up, we got Sempra. I can never find, I always forget the symbol of this one. It's like, because it's like DBC Sempra or something like that.
Yeah.
Something like that. I'll find it. Sempra.
There it is.
No, that's we got to find the United States one. Okay, it's DBA Sempra. All right. Well, see, this doesn't look like it's at clear support. So the ones that are at clear support, instead of just think of them as, all right, this is really oversold. It's at support. It could bounce. Another thing you got to understand too is if it's at support, it's probably a less risky trade if you're going to go long than if there's not support, because that support could put a floor underneath the stock. So even if you're wrong and it doesn't rebound, the support could keep it from going lower, which would mean you could get out at break even. American Electric Power. Yeah, we looked at this for the potential short, like right up around here. And this is your classic. We get support, right? You got your clear support level. So this is October of 21. And this is July of 23. So this shows you how long these can stay in these levels can stay intact for. And then here, once we get below it, we get the support converts into resistance. So you get these remorseful buyers. Let me try to make this look a little cleaner. Right, so we got support, and we got it over here. Now, I mean, think about it. So this level is actually, we're going to say 80-50, or as in my day, what they used to say, 80.5. All right, so first became support back in September of 21. Then it was support in November of 21. Then it was support in October of 22. Then it was support in May of 23 and June of 23. And then it converted into resistance. So here we have a level that is important for literally going on 2 years now, right? And you don't need to be a market guru to see that it's important. Here we have our classic descending triangle type pattern where we got our lower highs. This is like real textbook stuff here, people, these are just like great examples of how these patterns sometimes can play out so perfectly. It's like almost like uncanny. All right, so that's AEP. Next up would be Exelon, which I believe is EXC.
You really should write a book.
Well, people don't read books anymore. As far as I know.
They'd read this one. They'd read this one though, Mark. Honestly, if you titled it like "This is why you trade," or "This is how you trade," or "How to trade correctly."
Well, I was listening to Larry Kudlow, I think it was yesterday, and he was saying his book sold 60,000 copies. So if a guy like him who's so prominent can only sell 60,000 copies, it's got to just be really hard to sell stuff. But my lessons, I guess, could be a modern type thing, right? Modern type book.
Yeah, you build a curriculum that you teach people the way that you would, the way that you think people should learn how to trade stocks. Especially considering you're as good at it as you are. I mean, I'm dumb and you taught me.
Well, believe me, it's easier to teach than it is to trade because your emotions don't get involved, right, when you're teaching.
Yep.
But anyway, look at this here. So where did this find a bottom? We go into this a cataclysmic sell-off for a utility stock. And where do we find a bottom? The same place we found a bottom over here back in the last October. And where was that bottom? Well, the place where there was resistance. So you just look for these former support levels and these former resistance levels, and there's a good chance you get some movement. You get the market's coming in, and there's people who want to buy, and all of a sudden they notice it's not going, price isn't going any lower. So they say to themselves, hey, if the price isn't going any lower, that must mean that there's other buyers coming into the market. So they get worried other buyers are going to outbid them, and they just jump ahead of them. You get the snowball effect. You get to support in your rally a lot of times. So that could happen here. Snowball effect, people jumping ahead of each other. If those interest rates start to come in a little bit, and they probably will before going higher.
Yeah.
Because they are overbought. This could be a trade. Like this could be the market telling us there's a trade here. You got this resistance here, support here. And then it's the opposite when you're up at a resistance level. You got people who want to sell, and they notice other sellers are coming into the market, and they get afraid that other sellers are going to undercut each other, so they reduce their prices, and you end up getting this snowball effect to the downside. So this has nothing to do with what they're telling you about in the news. These are like technical things. This is because of the interest rate that this is. You could argue that this isn't a technical move because it's not like coming off of an important price level. But regardless, look at where we found support. All right, next up is Dominion Energy. And this thing is just
every one of these has been trashed.
Yeah. Let me just get rid of this here. Get rid of 16 drugs. Yeah, this thing is just like free fall city, man. Hasn't been this low since December of 10. So it's trading at 13-year lows. Wow, this is pretty amazing stuff. These are considered the safe stocks.
Yeah.
Constellation Energy. Wow, this is kind of interesting. Look at this. This has gone completely the other way. Wow. I wonder what's going on here. Wonder how this is different. This is an electric utility.
Subsidies, maybe.
Oh, maybe it's a clean energy company.
I bet it is.
Carbon-free power.
There you go, baby. Tax dollars at work. The rest of the industry's down, and that one's skyrocketing. I love this. They got this thing figured out.
Well, this is you go through these markets, and it teaches you stuff.
Mm-hmm.
PG. What is PG&E? Gosh, I look at so many stocks, it just kind of.
Yeah, you end up losing the symbols.
It just kind of blends together. PG&E Corp. Huh. Let's go find. Here we go. Whatever. I'm just going to go to Excel. Oh, yeah, here we go. All right. So now it's working. Yeah. So here's another thing where we can see, right? Resistance becomes support. For whatever reason, this particular stock likes this level, 1530. It goes to these other levels like 1550, 1580, and it just. We get up to this level, 1674. There was some support. There was some resistance over here.
Mark, you're freezing up again.
Really?
Yeah. I think it's when you're sharing your screen. I think it's a bandwidth issue that you're having. You may need that larger Ethernet cable like the Cat 6E, because like when you share your screen, it knocks you down, but now you're back up again. Yeah, so you can
Okay.
hear you now, but you were spotty there for about 2 minutes.
I mean, I haven't done anything. Well, let's see here.
No, you're good now.
Number 2. All right. Well, I'll figure it out when we're done.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be something with the internet company. Getting a strange call from San Diego. All right. Anyway, Excel Energy. All right. Well, I don't see much here. So let's see if we can find some more. Well, you know what? Let's go through the main markets first, and then let's see if we can find some more water companies. All right. So, we talk about S&P maybe getting a bounce off of the 420 level. And I mean, that's pretty much what's happened. This line is 418, but got down to about look at that, 420.18 was our low yesterday. So we got down to 420, and now we're having a little bit of a bounce. Nothing major. Like I said, with interest rates continuing to move like they are, I just have a hard time seeing the market go higher. Yeah, so maybe we're starting to get a little bit of a reversal here, because this is just, this is ridiculously overbought. I mean, the last time we were this overbought, we got this move lower here, and here we got this move lower there. All right, let's see what else we got going on here. Let's download them. Well, you know what? Actually, got to look at Apple. All right, now another thing to watch, what we've been talking about over the last few days, is this Apple here. I just don't see. I don't see the broader equity market moving higher as long as Apple is below this 175 level. All right, so this is going to be important to watch in here. And let's see what our tech sector looks like. Yeah, so the tech sector looked a little bit weak yesterday. Still kind of testing around this level, though. I mean, this movement is not as big as it appears. You got to think about the scale. This down here is like 161.50. This up here is 165.80. So this is like a $5, little bit of a range in here.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, look at the weak action of Microsoft. But this is kind of interesting too, right? Notice how it got to the top right where the former tops are, and it found a bottom right where the former bottoms are. This is kind of short-term stuff, but so if we just wanted to true this up a little, I'd probably go up to there, where this open was. Well, where that close was, so I'm going to put it like right in the middle. So like right there. All right, so another perfect example of price levels, right? This thing opens up at a level that was support. And remember, there are people who bought on Monday right up around here who are like, oh, they bought at the close and they thought the rally was going to continue, but the next morning they opened up down a little. So now you're going to have people who are up here who are going to be trying to sell. So that's why what was resistance can become resistance again. On the downside here, you'll see the low trade was right at this black line, 311. So you got people who sold down in here, say sold at this opening, who thought the market was going to go lower, and it didn't, went higher. So a lot of them say, hey, I made a mistake. If I can buy my shares back, I'm going to. So you got remorseful sellers placing buy orders over here. And this is why we see, you know, resistance and support at former levels that are important, because it's because of this whole concept of remorse and investment psychology. All right, so let's go see what the healthcare sector is doing. Yeah, this looks like this could even be getting ready for some kind of a rebound, because if we look down here, getting pretty close to support. So this, I mean, or, you know, patterns, kind of like patterns broke the support. Watching this, and let's see.
Mark, you're going in and out again. Guys, listen, thank you for a wonderful day being here with us today. We'll get back with you tomorrow. We'll find out what's going on with Mark's internet connection and get back with you then. Stay safe in the market and make sure you let the chart tell you what to do. Don't trade too early.